Okay, so get this. What if there was a way to know which students might need a little extra help in class, like even before they fall behind?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's what they're trying to figure out at the University of New South Wales
Wow.
in Sydney, Australia. They're using AI,
Really?
yeah, to look at student data and actually predict outcomes. We are going to dive into the how, the why, and what makes this system so unique.
So what's really fascinating about this whole thing is that UNSW, they didn't even start out trying to predict grades.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Initially, they really just wanted to try to make sense of all the student data they had been gathering.
So they were kind of just sitting on this gold mine, but they didn't know what to do with it.
Pretty much, yeah. The game changer was when they took a closer look at Moodle.
Moodle, okay.
You know?
Yeah, that online learning platform.
Exactly, that most universities use.
Oh, yeah. I practically lived on Moodle back in my university days.
Right. Well, UNSW realized that Moodle is way more than just a place to turn in assignments.
Huh.
It's like this treasure trove of student data.
Really?
Yeah, every click, every interaction.
Wow.
It's all recorded, giving this very detailed picture of how students are actually engaging with the material.
Okay, that's clever, because most schools just look at the grades. But this is about understanding how each student actually learns.
And that's absolutely crucial for the AI.
Okay.
So UNSW started applying this detailed Moodle data to one particular course.
Okay.
And that's when they had their breakthrough moment.
What happened? Did they suddenly become, like, fortune tellers?
Kind of. They realized they had enough information to not only analyze past performance, but to actually predict how students might fare in the future.
Wow.
Yeah, it went from simply understanding data to having this powerful predictive tool at their fingertips.
That's quite a jump, though.
It is.
To go from one course to scaling that up to a whole university, I mean, that seems like a huge challenge.
Oh, absolutely.
How did they even begin to tackle that?
It was no small feat, that's for sure, because you've got years of data across thousands of courses, all needing to be standardized.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about throwing it all into a spreadsheet.
Right.
They had to design this generic model that could work across all these different courses, so it had to be able to pick up on the key elements of student performance no matter what the subject was.
So it's like looking for common threads in this giant tapestry.
Yeah, exactly.
Did it work? Like, could they actually apply this to the whole university?
That's where it gets really interesting and where the impact becomes really clear.
Okay.
Because globally, university dropout rates, it's a big concern.
It is.
And in Australia, for example, only about 40% of students who started a bachelor's degree in 2019 had even finished it by 2022.
Wow.
This system really has the potential to change that.
Those are some pretty sobering statistics.
They are.
Yeah, it sounds like the stakes are actually pretty high here. But before we get into all of that,
Sure.
let's talk about how well this thing actually works.
Okay.
So how accurate is it?
So the early testing showed it was incredibly good at predicting which students might be at risk.
Give me the numbers. What kind of accuracy are we talking about?
So the system was consistently able to identify students at risk of failing. But here's the truly exciting part.
Right.
Almost half of the students who were flagged by the system actually improved their engagement and performance after receiving some extra support.
So it's not just about, like, slapping a failing label on them. It's about giving them a chance to turn things around.
Exactly.
I like that.
It's about spotting those potential issues early on and providing support. It's about empowering students to succeed.
This early warning system seems to be about so much more than just predicting grades.
Right.
It sounds like it has the potential to fundamentally change how we approach education, but how does it actually work in practice? What are the specific interventions that they're using?
Well, UNSW is still figuring that part out, but
Yeah.
well, they're exploring a range of personalized interventions.
Okay.
So think custom-tailored study plans,
Okay.
targeted tutoring recommendations.
Gotcha. That sort of thing.
Okay.
They really want to leverage these AI insights to provide, very specific and helpful support to those students.
So instead of a one-size-fits-all approach,
Exactly.
it's about giving the student exactly what they need when they need it.
Precisely.
Yeah. Okay.
Imagine a system that can pinpoint exactly when a student starts to struggle
Okay.
and then automatically connect them with the resources that are most likely to help them.
Wow. So it's like having a personal academic assistant for every student.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing to think about what this could mean for the future of education,
Yeah.
But
But let's reel it back in for a sec. I mean, this is all still pretty new, right?
it is.
Are there any, concrete examples of how this early warning system has already helped students at UNSW?
Absolutely. And I think one of the most compelling aspects of this whole system is that it's already making a really tangible difference.
Oh, wow.
For instance, they've seen students who were flagged by the system.
Go from being, really on the verge of failing to actually excelling in their courses.
That's incredible. How does that happen?
It's
Like, what are they doing differently once a student is identified as, like, needing some help?
Well, it's not just about identifying students at risk, right? It's about providing them with the support they need to succeed.
Okay.
So for some, it might be connecting them with like peer tutoring services.
Okay.
For others, it might be providing access to additional study materials or workshops on, effective study habits.
So it's about giving them the tools and resources they need to succeed.
Exactly.
But ultimately, the student is still the one driving the car, right?
Yeah, exactly. The system empowers students to take control of their learning.
Okay.
It provides them with insights and support, but it doesn't dictate outcomes.
Right.
Ultimately, success depends on the student's own effort and engagement.
It's about giving them a nudge in the right direction, not dragging them across the finish line.
I like that.
So, okay, we've talked about how the system helps students who are at risk of falling behind.
Right.
But what about students who are already doing well? Can this system benefit them too?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that makes this technology so exciting,
Right.
It's not just about remediation. It's
Yeah.
about enhancing the learning experience for all students.
Okay.
So for high-achieving students, the system could be used to create like personalized learning paths that challenge them
Okay.
and help them really reach their full potential.
So imagine like a student who's breezing through their coursework.
Right.
This system could identify their strengths
Yeah, absolutely.
and recommend, more advanced material or even like opportunities for independent study or research.
Exactly. It's about tailoring that learning experience to meet the individual needs of each student,
Wow.
whether they need extra support or they're ready to, accelerate their learning.
This is really making me think differently about the possibilities of like technology and education,
Yeah.
because we often hear about, using AI to automate tasks or even replace teachers.
Right, right.
But this feels different.
It is.
It's about using technology to like augment and enhance that human element of education.
I think that's a really important point.
Yeah.
This technology has the potential to free up teachers from some of the more, I guess, tedious and time-consuming tasks,
Right.
allowing them to focus on what they do best,
Yeah.
inspiring, mentoring, and building those relationships with their students.
It's about giving teachers superpowers, not replacing them.
I like that.
Right. They'll have more time and better information to actually support their students.
Precisely. Imagine a world where teachers have access to real-time data
Okay.
that tells them which students are struggling,
Huh.
which concepts they're having trouble with,
Yeah.
and even what kind of support might be most helpful.
Oh, wow.
This technology can be a game changer for educators who are, really passionate about helping their students succeed.
It's like giving them a window into the minds of their students,
Yes.
allowing them to like tailor their teaching methods and support systems in ways that were never possible before.
Exactly.
But this all sounds very data-driven.
It is.
So how can we be sure that UNSW is using this data responsibly?
Sure.
Privacy is obviously a huge concern when it comes to student information.
Absolutely. And to their credit,
Yeah.
UNSW has been very upfront about how they're addressing these privacy concerns.
Okay.
They've updated their student privacy agreement to be more transparent about how data from this system is being used.
That's good to know. Transparency is key when you're dealing with such sensitive information.
Absolutely. And it's not just about being transparent, right? It's also about giving students a voice in the process.
Okay.
UNSW has been very proactive about seeking student feedback and incorporating that into the development and implementation of the system.
So it's not a case of the university just like imposing this technology on the students. They're actively involving them in the process.
Exactly. They've held open forums and workshops where students can learn about the system, ask questions, and share their concerns.
That's great to hear.
Yeah,
Seems like they're really committed to making this a collaborative effort,
absolutely.
which is essential when you're talking about something as, transformative as AI in education.
They understand that for this technology to be truly successful, it needs to be embraced by that entire university community.
It's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about how it's implemented and integrated into the culture of the university.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Right.
It's about creating a culture of trust and transparency where students and educators feel comfortable using these tools to enhance the learning experience.
This has been a fascinating look at the potential of AI in education.
It has.
And it seems like UNSW is really leading the way here. But what about the bigger picture? What are some of the potential long-term impacts of this kind of technology on the future of education? This early warning system at UNSW, it really feels like we're peeking into the future of education.
It does.
But it makes me wonder about, like, the ripple effects.
Mm-hmm.
What happens as these kinds of technologies become more and more common?
Right.
What does it mean for, like, the future of universities?
That's a big question, isn't it?
It is.
What I find so fascinating is that this technology really has the potential to, like, reshape the very fabric of education as we know it.
Yeah.
For centuries, universities have been these very traditional institutions.
Yeah.
But now we're talking about a future where AI could personalize the learning experience on a scale that we've just never seen before.
Yeah, it's almost like we're moving from a one-size-fits-all model to a system where every student has their own custom-tailored education.
Right.
But could this technology eventually, make those, like, brick-and-mortar universities obsolete? Are we all going to be learning from robots in the metaverse?
That's a question that comes up a lot, Yeah.
And
it's an important one. But personally,
Yeah.
I don't think technology will ever fully replace that human element of education.
Okay.
I think there's something about that in-person experience, the interactions between students and faculty, those sort of serendipitous encounters that spark new ideas, and that's something that's really hard to replicate with technology.
Yeah, I agree. It's about finding that balance, right?
Exactly.
Between, like, technology and human interaction, using AI to actually enhance those human connections.
Yes.
Not replace them.
Exactly. And I think universities are really uniquely positioned to embrace this new era of education.
Okay.
They have the resources, the expertise, and most importantly, I think, the responsibility to really guide the development and implementation of these technologies in a way that benefits all students.
It's about shaping the future of education, not letting it be shaped for us.
Yes. Precisely. And I think that future is full of really exciting possibilities. Imagine a world where AI helps students from, all walks of life reach their full potential.
Yeah.
Where it breaks down barriers to education.
Right.
And empowers individuals to pursue their passions with confidence.
Yeah, it's about, like, democratizing access to knowledge and opportunity.
Absolutely.
Not just for a select few, but, for everyone.
I couldn't agree more.
Wow. This has been an incredible conversation.
It has.
It's really amazing to think about how far we've come and the incredible possibilities that lie ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me today and showing your expertise. I really appreciate it.
It's been my pleasure.
And to all our listeners, thank you for, diving into this topic with us.
Yes, thank you.
We hope this conversation has sparked your curiosity and given you plenty to think about.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and most importantly, keep learning.